A series of tubes is a phrase coined originally as an analogy by then United States Senator Ted Stevens to describe the Internet in the context of opposing network neutrality. On June 28, 2006, he used this metaphor to criticize a proposed amendment to a committee bill. The amendment would have prohibited Internet access providers such as AT&T, Comcast, Time Warner Cable, and Verizon Communications from charging fees to give some companies' data a higher priority in relation to other traffic. The metaphor has been widely ridiculed, particularly because Stevens displayed a limited understanding of the Internet, even though he was in charge of regulating it. Edward Felten, Princeton University professor of computer science, pointed out the unfairness of some criticisms of Stevens' wording, while maintaining that the underlying arguments were rather weak. Partial text of Stevens' comments. Media commentary. On June 28, 2006, Public Knowledge Government Affairs Manager Alex Curtis wrote a brief blog entry introducing the senator's speech and posted an MP3 recording. The next day, the Wired magazine blog 27B/6 featured a lengthier post by Ryan Singal, which included Singal's transcriptions of some parts of Stevens' speech considered the most humorous. Within days, thousands of other blogs and message boards posted the story. Most writers and commentators derisively cited several of Stevens' misunderstandings of Internet technology, arguing that the speech showed that he had formed a strong opinion on a topic which he understood poorly. The story sparked mainstream media attention, including a mention in the New York Times. The technology podcast This Week in Tech discussed the incident. According to the Wall Street Journal, as summarized by Media Post commentator Ross Fadner. Related nomenclature, the term pipe is a commonly used idiom to refer to a data connection, with pipe diameter being analogous to bandwidth or throughput. For instance, high-bandwidth connections are often referred to as fat pipes. Pop culture references. The Daily Show with Jon Stewart has made multiple references to techno Ted Stevens' series of tubes description. As a result, Stevens has become well known as the person who once headed the committee charged with regulating the Internet. "I have a letter from a big scientist who said I was absolutely right in using the word tubes," Stevens said to reporters in response to The Daily Show's coverage. When asked if he'd think about going on the show to debate Jon Stewart, Stevens replied, "I'd consider it." In the keynote speech at the 2007 Penny Arcade Expo, Will Wheaton spoke about remembering when the Internet was more like a truck than a series of tubes. Grand Theft Auto V features an in-game web browser named UIFind, the header for which reads UIFind. It's like a series of tubes. Google has included references to this in 2 of its products. Gears About Box says the gears that power the tubes, and Google Chrome had an About Easter egg at the address About Internet Switch displayed a screensaver of tubes with the page title Don't Clog the Tubes. When About Internet was entered on a computer lacking that screensaver, the tab displayed a gray screen with the page title The Tubes Are Clogged. This Easter egg was removed as of the 2.0.159.1 release. The documentation for developing Chrome extensions includes a near-verbatim quote of the series of tubes paragraph when describing its Chrome storage class. The comments made by Ted Stevens are frequently used in ventrilo harassment videos on YouTube and other video-sharing websites. The video game Destiny has a mission called A Series of Tubes in which the player must access information in Defense Network. Tribute. Alexandra Petrie of The Washington Post wrote a humorous article entitled Senator Stevens, The Tubes Salute You after Stevens died in an airplane crash August 9, 2010. And as people remember him, make ill-timed jests, and muse on his legacy all in real time, in great profusion I worry that they are disrupting the ability of people elsewhere to receive their internets. But for us in the Facebook generation who weren't around for the first plane crash and know the Bridge to Nowhere primarily as an SNL punchline, the senator's legacy is in that series of tubes. The Bridge to Nowhere refers to the Graven Island Bridge, another issue Stevens was responsible for which he was also mocked. See also. References. External links. Schneider, Tim. Mr. Stevens's Wild Ride Through a Series of Tubes. Public Knowledge. Belson, Ken. Senator unregistered trademark slip of the tongue keeps on trucking unregistered trademark over the web. The New York Times. This Week in Tech podcast talking about net neutrality and the series of tubes, recommended in Scientific American, Tubes: A Journey to the Center of the Internet by Andrew Bloom, 2012.